Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Versations Volume 2 or Episode 2. We have a doozy for you today. So today's topic is Black Mirror, fact or fiction? And you're going to see where we're going with it as we get into this. So, you're a fan of Black Mirror, right?
Indeed.
Tell us why.
I'm not usually into this stuff, as you know very well. You know, it was just, for me, it's so close to the future. It's frightening. For me, it's almost like, all right, this is what's going to happen to humanity. This is how we are evolving or devolving because of technology. And that's why I found it intriguing. The first episode, very weird.
What was the first one again? Remind me.
The Prime Minister had to do some unsavory things with an animal.
Yeah. Pork-based product, I believe. Yep.
And what confused me was I didn't know they were all self-contained episodes. So where it's finished the first one and it's just slid into the second one and it's so different, the second one. I thought Netflix had slid it into some other episode, some other thing. So I'm watching it. I kind of switched off. Anyway, I'm glad I went back because it got better and better. And I was like, wow, this is really trying to say something here, you know? So yeah, I'm a fan of it. Put it that way.
All right. In brief, I will say exactly the same thing. I'm a fan for very similar reasons. I'm more of a sci-fi head generally than you. Not that it's a sci-fi series per se, but it has elements. And I'm a fantasy guy as well. Again, elements, not really that type of show. But again, the idea that it has these self-contained dioramas that present these really extreme perspectives that are really just extensions of existing sort of things that we need to deal with in our society. So they're kind of projecting them forward, so it feels like, oh, this is really extreme, like, oh, what is this? It's really out there. But for me, it's really not that out there at all. It's a few steps forward kind of thing. So let's get into this.
I would agree. Because it was quite new to me, the first season was really like explosive. Certain episodes. The one that hit me was, I think it may have been called White Bear.
Ah, right, yeah.
Yeah, am I right? Yeah,
I believe so. Which one is that?
That's the one where the girl wakes up, the woman wakes up, and she doesn't know what's happening. Yeah, and then there's this weird sign, and she goes out, and everybody's got their camera phones on her, and then she's chased and stuff like that. That's so close to reality because we see that happening today. Some people, members of the public, may be in a situation, and before other members of the public help, they get out their phones to film them. Oh yeah. So it's so, do you know what I mean? It's so real. It's like, basically for me, it's almost like, what is the writer of Black Mirror trying to say with this particular episode? Entertainment has become the new god over humanity in that particular episode, even though there was like a twist at the end or something like that. She was being punished. She was in a game show, something to that effect. Yeah. But yeah, it was literally look, entertainment or attention is a new drug. So obviously, if you post something, you're gonna get all those likes and the hits and stuff. So entertainment is the new drug or the new god that surpasses helping out a fellow human being. That's what I got from it. How about you?
For me, very similar vibe. But for me, it was even more poignant just because it's a throwback to something that's been coming for such a long time, something that we've been seemingly aware of in our nature. Because you can go all the way back to Schwarzenegger's Running Man in the 80s. The concept is exactly the same.
Right, so educate me, please.
Oh, so The Running Man was like a sci-fi flick set undetermined amount of time in the future, but not that far, where basically they took criminals and they would put them into this game show called The Running Man, where basically they would be trying to escape from these guys who were going to kill them. Yeah, so, and each of these guys had a special something. There's a guy called Electro, and they had not powers, but they gave him all sorts of machines that allowed him to throw electricity, and he had a car. There were other dudes that could do various things. So they came across almost like superheroes. They're just gadgets to give them different powers. There's Pyro, a fire guy, blah, 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 blah. But that was the whole concept of it. The criminals were thrown into this thing and nobody cared because they're criminals. So that's how the government kind of justified that whole idea. So that was the idea that had evolved. They put them in a show, and if you won, you got to go off and be free. Your sentence was commuted. You got to go off on a holiday, blah, 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 blah. Twist is, no one ever does that because even the people that they say have won and they show pictures of, it's all faked. All those people have been killed. Yeah? So
that's that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a brilliant movie. If you've never seen it, it's a really, for its time, not even for its time, it's a good movie of its type. You know what I mean? But even then, we were aware of our rising kind of bloodlust and our kind of rising, as you said, putting entertainment over humanity, or being able to conceptualize it in that way. So for me, that's fascinating, the idea that we are empathic beings, but our empathy can easily be intellectually kind of underplayed. We can put aside that which we think of as being integral to us, like our empathy for other human beings, and don't want to see someone else in pain, but we can justify it if we put something else under it. So I don't want to see anyone get chased down and murdered and killed. Oh, he's a paedophile? Put him in that game show, I'll watch him die. Kind of thing. You know, there are, things which overlay that. Like for you, what's your feeling in that kind of area?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I wish I disagreed with you.
We're making an interesting discussion.
Yeah, no, you're right. We are, in my opinion, we're devolving as a race, as a species.
Interesting.
And that really is due to technology and the nurture aspect of it, and where it's putting our brains and maybe the becoming obsolete. I think we've actually got another subject I don't want to go too deep into, but the smartphone dumb people.
Right.
External brain. So we'll touch that another time. But no, Black Mirror is crazy, because what I liked about, after I started to understand, okay, these are all self-contained things, different actors, different grading, different countries, everything.
Yes.
I was like, oh wow, what's this one? And because I'm not really usually into something like that, and it was able to engage me. There was one that was weird, but I know also this is where it may already have happened, because they show certain things that's happened in certain parts of the country of the world that we're not privy to until years later. So there was one where the woman's husband died, and there was some kind of technology that could bring him back into it's almost like an AI thing. Yeah. So his same body and the same kind of basically his personality transplant into this robot. And it was so real for her. The only difference is, in the bedroom, he was performing a lot better than he did when he was alive.
And I didn't see this episode. Right.
Okay, yeah, you got to go back and watch it. And it was just weird. It was just really, really weird. But still, just to understand that. And we've had this discussion, how far would you go? How far would you push your humanity? We've talked about the immortality pill. You know what I'm saying? And so I know there's going to be a plethora of people that if they lost somebody, they would use that technology. They would use that technology. And what would be the outcome of that? What would be what would be
the end point? Where would it go?
Yeah. Or what would be I'm trying to say is what would that do to them? Where would what would be the value then of a real human? If you could really, really create the most, and I know they're working on it. I know they probably already locked it down, where you can create, say, another version of you, but none of your flaws are there.
Intriguing.
And you've got the same conversation you would have with your missus or whatever, the same conversation, everything is the same, but you're like the latest operating system all the time, and there's no flaws. Then you're like, well, actually, don't really need humans like that. We could. So it's deeper. It can go deeper and stuff like that.
Before we talk about the Black Mirror as a whole, let's fling out some other episodes that really stood out to us.
Can you remember any other ones?
So one that really stands out to me and I found incredibly powerful. There's one that had Toby Kebbell in it, and it was one where they have they're able to play back their real-time memories, because there's a chip in their brain, which is the replay thing.
That constant was a powerful episode.
Incredible. So for anyone who didn't see it, basically there's a chip.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry, should have said that for the whole episode. There's a chip in each person's brain that they can control themselves with a little controller that they have, and they can replay anything they've seen or experienced at any moment in time. It's all classified in there.
Slow it down, rewind it, see it from different angles.
Precisely. Zoom in, zoom out, etc. Fine details. Real quick synopsis. He's on the skids with his job. He's trying to get another job. We see him at first in an interview, and he's kind of clearly not happy with the way the interview's going or has gone. He leaves. He goes to meet his girlfriend at a dinner party. He sees her clearly flirting with some other dude. Anyway, episode goes on. And it kind of plays with your perceptions of things and gets you to feel like he's a paranoid individual. Until later on in the episode, we see him zooming in and out. He's going a bit crazy watching this episode of the girl flirting with this other dude. Then, long story short, he finds out in the end this guy has been having an affair with his girl. He zooms in on a particular memory that he steals from the other guy. He goes,
how does he? Sorry, how does he access? Because he accesses her memory or something, doesn't he?
He does eventually. He gets her to access her, because what they can do is they can cast the memories to a TV so that other people can see it and share it. So he eventually gets her to cast a memory. Go on.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Because there was something I think they did in his bedroom, in their bedroom.
Yes.
And then he recognized something.
In the memory of the bedroom,
yeah.
And and that allowed him to place the affair, because she claimed it was something that happened years ago. He was able to place the affair and says, look, this was in the house at the time. We recently, etc. Or when they were apart for a few days. So long story short, the concept that this brings up is there going to be an issue when we become enhanced in that way? When we have complete control, is it? We all have that thing where, like, God damn it, I can't remember. Short-term memory is a terrible thing, but then long-term memory, oh damn, I can't remember these things that happened when I was 13, but that person over there remembers. That kind of vibe. Would it be a positive thing in our lives to have complete control, complete recall? Because we already have that thing of a witness is the worst person to ask about a crime, because they make up details, they fill in blanks because of the way our brains, because we're pattern machines, we can't have a gap. We fill it in with something that we invent. So is it going to be a real positive thing for us or a negative to have full recall? What are your thoughts?
100% negative.
Tell us why.
Wow. Okay. Where do I start? So, not to get religious or spiritual or anything like that, but I think we're designed a certain way to be a certain way. And I don't mean that enhancements are not good. Some enhancements can be good. There was the cell replacement and all that stuff there can help people live longer and all that stuff there. But when you start to play with mind and memory and all them stuff there, for me, leave that alone. That's just my kind of my moral compass. We saw the effects, the negative effects of what it had on this particular couple. The other side of that is, well, actually, if you know that everything is being watched and can be recalled, then you maybe have to walk a straighter line in your behavior. But then, I don't know. It's just a no to me. It's just a no. I don't really have a very rational reason as to why it's a no.
It feels wrong to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to participate in that. I mean, for crimes, it's awesome for crimes, for fighting crime. But nah. I mean, what say you?
I'm kind of mixed on it, to be honest with you. Like, I see obviously the definite benefits for each individual in their everyday life in terms of having perfect recall of things. It means that learning becomes a very different experience. It means that interactions between individuals become based on knowable facts as opposed to hazily remembered things, kind of thing. It means I'd probably win a few more arguments with my girlfriend, because I could actually say, no, this is how it happened. Here we go. But the flip side, you've got legal implications. How does the law step into that? How does society then judge at what point it's allowable to demand that someone else replay their memories, share their memories, show their memories for legal purposes? Where does it end? Do we get to a point where if you're even in the scene of something that happened, police can immediately demand that you download all the memories from that day and give it to their database? What happens with those? What happens if you had sex an hour before you were at the scene of this crime and all those memories have been taken up? Who's observing them?
And you didn't perform well.
Whoa! There's implication, and that's the mildest kind of side of it that could be a negative side effect.
Yeah. Just to add to that, actually, I just had a thought when you're speaking, is that there's a kind of, like, I believe we would not, most of us wouldn't be able to live in the present. Because we'd be so obsessed with, okay, what really happened there? Let me take my time and watch that back. Figure out what happened there and how I could have done it better, or how I could whatever. And then you're just constantly living in the past, which is kind of robbing you of life. So that's another, as you were speaking, there's another thing that popped into my mind.
That is a bloody good point of view. I mean, enough of us live in the past now without that perfect recall ability.
Indeed.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. How many of us would sit there just reliving our best moments?
Yeah.
Or how many depressed people would sit there, or anxious people would sit there going over and over and over again, the bad interview, the bad this, the bad interaction, or reliving abuse.
Yeah. So it sounds like you agree with me. Because you was on the fence, but it sounds like you jumped off the fence 2 feet and you're like, you know what?
It sounds like that. But like I said, initially I see the absolute everyday positives, but I also see other positives. Like, okay, so imagine in terms of a therapeutic space. In a therapeutic space right now, if you've been, let's take an extreme example, if you've been severely abused in one way, shape or another, and you're working with a therapist to work through those things, how much value would there be? Because the damage of that abuse is the long-term damage. I mean, hopefully you're not physically permanently damaged, God forbid, but I mean, you know, the long-term damage of that is mental. What if you could excise that memory, just as they were able to edit, delete? What if you could entirely erase, work with that person to build up other aspects of their being, and then at the right time erase the source of that trauma?
Is anything ever really erased? And I leave that open to anything.
That's a fair question.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think there's a lot of benefits to that as well. It's just policing it.
Yeah.
And it's that autonomy that the individual has. And yeah, everybody will walk around like that. Seriously, everybody, because they already walk like that. On
it's
the
so true. We're
like
halfway
that,
there.
Stuck with their head in this smartphone making dumb people. But no, episode.
Hi, you're watching a clip from a longer episode of The Realversation. If you enjoyed it, please like and don't forget to share so you can bring your friends in on the conversation. Also, don't forget to check out the full-length episodes at our channel on YouTube and get involved in the dialogue by commenting down below or by tweeting us at Realversation. Hope I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.